Hare Krishna, Prabhujis and Matajis, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to this Saturday morning Srimad Bhagavatam session. We'll start with a bhajan. This is a bhajan, Gauranga Bolite Habe. This is by Narottam Das Thakur. Gauranga Bolite Habe, Pulak Sharira. Hari Hari bolite nayane babe meera. Gauranga bolite habe pulak sharira. Hari Hari bolite nayane babe meera. আর কাবিনীতাই চাঁদের করুণা হইবে সংসার বাসনা মোরা কবে তো ছাহাবে আর কাবিনীতাই চাঁদের করুণা হইবে संसार बासना मोरा कबे तो छहावे विषया छाड़िया कबे शुद्ध हवे माना कबे हम हेरावो श्री वृंदावना विषया छाड़िया कबे शुद्ध बेमाना कबे हम हेरावो श्री वृंदावना रूप रघुनाथ पदे होइबे आकुति कबे हम बुझावो से जुगल पीरिति रूप रघुनाथ पदे होइबे आकुति कबे हम बुझावो से जुगल पीरिति रूप रघुनाथ पदे रहु मोराशा प्रार्थना करो ये सदा नरोत्तम दासा रूप रघुनाथ पदे रहु मोराशा प्रार्थना करो ये सदा नरोत्तम दासा गौरांगा बोलीते हबे पुलक शरीरा हरि हरि बोलीते नयने बबे मीरा আর কাবিনীতাই চাঁদের করুণা হইবে সংসার বাসনা মোরা কবে তো ছাহাবে. It's a wonderful prayer by Narottam Das Thakur. So we'll go through the translations also, so we understand the mood and melody of this particular kirtan. When will that opportune moment come to us when there will be shivering of the body? As soon as we chant Lord Gauranga's name. While chanting Hare Krishna, when will there be tears in the eyes? When will I obtain the mercy of Lord Nityananda Chandra? When by his mercy will the desire for material enjoyment become very insignificant? When the mind is completely purified, being freed from material anxieties and desires, then I shall be able to understand Vrindavan and the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna. And then my spiritual life will be successful. When shall I be very much eager to study the books left by the 6 Goswamis, headed by Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami? By their instruction, I shall be able to properly understand the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. My only aspiration is to attain the lotus feet of the six Goswamis headed by Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. Narottam Das constantly prays to attain their lotus feet. Hari Bol, Hari Krishna. We'll start with the prayers to the Parampara. Om. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गोब्राह्मणहिताय च जगद्धिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं ॐ अपवित्रः पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थान् गतोऽपि वा यत्स्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्षं स बाह्याभ्यन्तरं शुचिः श्रीविष्णु श्रीविष्णु श्रीविष्णु. We'll also do Shikshashtakam prayers. This is by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami from Chaitanya Charitamrita. चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापणं श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम् नाम्नामकारि बहुधा निज सर्वशक्ति तत्रार्पित नियमित स्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमीदृशं ह्याजनी नानुरागः तृणादपि सुनीचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानिना मानदेन कीर्तनीया सदा हरि न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवताद्भक्तिरहेतुकी त्वयि अयि नन्दतनुजकिङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कज स्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तया नयनं कलदश्रुधारया वदनं कत्कतरुद्धया गिरा पुलकैर्विचितं वपुः कदा तव नाम गृहणे भविष्यति युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रावृषायितम् शून्यायितं जगत् सर्वं गोविन्दविरहीन मे आश्लिष्य वा पादरतां पिनस्तु माम् अदर्शनं मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा यथा वा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु सेवनापरा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna to all the wonderful devotees in the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Thank you for joining. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Personally welcoming Lilananda Prabhu, Shilpa Mataji, Kamya Mataji, Murlidhar Prabhu, Sirisha Mataji, Subbarao Prabhuji, Swapna Mataji, and Vanilla Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Firstly, grateful to Lilananda Prabhu for giving us this opportunity to be able to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam sometime or other. And though utterly unqualified to speak on such an elevated subject matter, he very mercifully has given us the chance to be able to speak Srimad Bhagavatam for our own purification. And if there is anything good that you find in this particular session of today, all glories to all our Shiksha Gurus, Diksha Gurus, Leela and Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada, and Acharyas, and to Guru Parampara. And if there is any mistake, please forgive me. It would be because of all my shortcomings that there might be some mistakes. And though I will try to speak exactly from whatever I have heard and whatever I have read, but if there are any shortcomings, please forgive me with your great hearts and with your kind hearts. And please feel free to correct me also. Thank you so much. So today, the chapter which is assigned to me, I will start sharing. This is actually the chapter 17 of the 9th canto. This is called Dynasties of the Sons of Pururava. As such, in this whole chapter, it's all about the lineage of Pururava. Of course, we'd been discussing a part of the lineage earlier also, like Leela and Prabhu also covered yesterday about Parshuram, Jamadagni, and so today is a continuation of that lineage. So firstly, we have to understand why exactly it is important to discuss such a lineage. Why would Srimad Bhagavatam spend so many chapters on just discussing who is whose son, what is the lineage, why is it important? And so here we have to understand very importantly that Pururava is a very, very significant personality. He had established the lunar dynasty, the Chandravamsha. And who appeared in Chandravamsha? Who appeared in Chandravamsha?
Sri Krishna.
Yes. So whenever Lord and his incarnations, his expansions, wherever they appear, that lineage is very, very glorious. And it is very important to understand the significant, important personalities in that particular lineage, right? So earlier we had covered even Sri Rama, the lineage. And now it is about Sri Krishna's lineage, because slowly and steadily it's actually moving towards the 10th canto, where the appearance, Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam, Evam Yo Veti Tatvataha, Tyaktva Deham Punarjanma, Naiti Mameti So Arjuna. So that birth and activities of Lord are very, very important for us to understand. Then what will happen? We will get out of this cycle of birth and death. So to understand the birth and activities of the Lord, before that we need to understand where Lord appeared and what is the significance of that lineage, right? So Pururava is actually the son of Ila and Buddha, like we saw earlier, son of the moon god. Buddha is the son of moon god. So through him begins the prominent Chandravamsha, from which we'll see that other important personalities, Yayati, Puru, the Kuru dynasty, and ultimately Lord Sri Krishna is appearing in that lineage. So why is this important? So Srila Prabhupada repeatedly has explained that Bhagavatam is talking about royal genealogies to show what is the historical continuity of dharma. So there are important personalities in each lineage, and they are very, very important for dharma samsthapanarthaya, right? Because that is Lord's plan. And Lord, when he has to establish dharma, he will do one obviously is through his appearance and activities, but all and through his speech also, like we see in Bhagavad Gita. He's come to speak Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and that's how he's establishing dharma for all of us. Now, we all read, study, and try to execute Bhagavad Gita in whatever way we can, whatever best way we can. But for that, Lord had to speak Bhagavad Gita in the first place for the fallen souls of Kali Yuga, right? So, Srila Prabhupada has explained that historical continuity of dharma is very, very important. And for that, we need to understand who are those important personalities in the different lineages of Krishna himself, and how actually dharma is being established. So, and it shows what is the descent path of the great kings in these lineages, what is the and how Lord appears in specific dynasties. And we saw different forms of the Lord, right? We have seen like starting from like Kapil Dev, Kapila Muni, right? And then we saw Prithu Maharaj, Shaktiavesh Avatar, right? And Narsimha Dev, and we saw, I mean, I'm just talking about important personalities, not all the personalities, like Narsimha Dev, and then we saw Lord Rama, Lord Vaman Dev, and now we'll be seeing Lord Krishna. So there are different appearances of the Lord in different dynasties, and we need to understand that. So in specific to Pururava also, as we saw in the previous chapters, we saw that how Pururava was very attached to Urvashi, and his life actually demonstrates the power of material attachment. And why is that important? Because if we see Srimad Bhagavatam, actually, it talks about these concepts specifically, like how Vairagya comes through frustration. So, which always starts with enjoyment. So, enjoyment, frustration, reflection, and then gradual detachment. This is a pattern that Srimad Bhagavatam is continuously kind of establishing and then reconfirming through some examples. For example, where does Srimad Bhagavatam actually establish this concept, right? One of the very important verses that we see, I will just show it to you, is in the fifth canto, fifth chapter, when Rishabh Dev is actually speaking to his sons, and he is giving important teachings to his sons, right? So it is fifth canto, fifth chapter, eighth verse, right? पुंसा स्त्रिया मिथुनीभावमेतं तयोर्मिथो हृदय ग्रन्थिमाहु अतो गृहक्षेत्रसुताप्तविक्तैर्जनस्य मोहोऽयमहं ममेति. So what does it say? The attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this misconception, which ties together the hearts of the male and female, one becomes attracted to his body, home, property, children, relatives, and wealth. In this way, one increases life's illusions and thinks in terms of I and mine. So, what is this doing? This is like a double knot. Srimad Bhagavatam actually says that how this heart's knot is like getting deepened and deepened. It starts with actually attraction between male and female, but that is the seed for everything else, because once that attraction is there, then that is the beginning of samsara, because one is actually then with the contemplation and with the constant desire, with this lust which transforms into greed, one gets married ultimately for the supreme enjoyment, thinking that this is where my ultimate enjoyment is, right? And then when gets married, it doesn't stop there, gets married, then bears children. Once children comes, then the attachment increases further, right? And then even more, lust is basically, it's not just about sensual enjoyment. Lust is actually meant, it's a word which is meant for deep attachment to a very strong desire. That's what lust means actually. So whenever there is a very deep attachment to any desire, where I feel that I can't live without this, that is the actually, that is the representation of the word lust. So, and that's how we can easily imagine with our own lives also. We can easily imagine like how, okay, it starts with marriage and then it is children. When children come, then we want to give them a good house, a good place, a good school, and then we want to earn harder, we want to work harder to fulfill those desires, and then we get into that deep well of this Tinnama Podkunama Tellarinda, that eating, sleeping, mating, defending, this continuously continues there. And then with that deep attachment for all these of our belongings, the I and me, the mind principle which is there, is getting reinforced again and again. It becomes so deep. The impressions are so strong in our mind that what happens is that it also leads us to the next life. Because at the time of dying, we have seen people, "Ee intlone chachipovalra nenu. I have to die in this house only. This is my house. This is what I have built. And I have to be born in this family only. To my children only I have to be born." Right? Like that. And that is, I am only desiring for my next life. So I am only sowing the seed in that soil, which is going to get fructified. And I am not learning any lesson through this whole lifetime that I have to develop any detachment. Despite being shunned by the kids, despite being chastised by husband or wife, whatever, we forget, raat gayi, baat gayi. We forget whatever lessons we are learning overnight. And then again, the next morning, same day starts. The same way we are seeing the next life also starts that way, and the next, and the next, and the next. So the more number of lives, the more are the impressions, the deeper is the attachment. Unless and until some devotee mercifully crosses our path, some devotee mercifully gives us an association, for that there is a latent sukruti which needs to develop, right? So, and without Lord's mercy, that sukruti won't come. When will we ever hear? That's what today's this Vishaya chadibe kabe shuddha habe mana. When will we actually stop that desire to attachment? And Pururava actually is an example, and we get to hear of these very strong examples in Srimad Bhagavatam. Sometimes it's very, very bewildering, because those are the extreme examples. So if we know that extreme examples have also happened in reality, then we will understand that something smaller can also happen to me, right? So Pururava, that way, one is he's basically his attachment to Urvasi is basically showing that power of attraction between man and woman is very bewildering, and how even a powerful king like Pururava can become controlled by the desires, by the sense gratificatory desires. He is so attached, like he is lamented his whole life for the company of Urvashi. And the temporary nature of material relationships also the episode of Pururava establishes. So Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing the same thing in the purports again and again, that the attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. And then even in Prahlad Maharaj also mentioned in his in one of the shlokas that yanmaithunadi grihameti sukham hitucham kando yanena karayoriva dukkha dukkham tripyanti neha kripana bahu dukkha bhaja kandoti vanmanasijam vishaheta dhira. So translation says, life of sense gratification is compared to the rubbing of two hands to relieve an itch. When you are like having an itching sensation, this is a very common example used by Radhanath Maharaj, that there is an itch and you are like kind of rubbing it again and again, it becomes totally reddish and there is a rash which is developed. So life of sense gratification is compared to that. Grihamedhis, so-called grihasthas who have no spiritual knowledge, think that this itching is the greatest platform of happiness, although actually it is source of distress. The Kripanas, the fools, who are just the opposite of Brahmanas, are not satisfied by repeated sensuous enjoyment. Those who are Dhira, however, who are sober and who tolerate this itching, are not subjected to the sufferings of fools and rascals. So the problem is also given here, solution is also given here. The problem is this sense gratification, which is giving us the itching sensation, but who will not feel the need to itch at all is those who are dhira, right? Who can tolerate this itching, are not subject to the sufferings of fools and rascals. So Pururava's lamentation after Urvashi leaves him is actually used as a psychological case study for us of how Maya can actually bewilder us, right? So Bhagavatam is teaching through a narrative. That is the speciality of Bhagavatam, because Bhagavad Gita is like our IPC law book. As I always say, that it is the law book. It is establishing the principles. But Bhagavatam is the case studies, right? So what is this demonstrating the Vairagya through frustration. And why Bhagavatam will include dynastic narrations is because it's a very important point to show the temporary. One is that it will show that such great dynasties have come and gone. And who are we, insignificant, so insignificant, so busy in our daily lives, but such great dynasties have come and gone. How temporary is the nature of the material power, that such great kings who have ruled, like we saw Lord Rama actually ruled for 11,000 years. We are not even living for 100 years. Lord Rama ruled for 11,000 years, right? But that also with time, actually, that such, who knows who is there in that dynasty now? Do we know the names of people who exist in that particular lineage now? We don't. Other day only I was thinking, who must be there? There must be somebody who must be there in that lineage, who must be thinking that, oh, I am so great that I am in the dynasty of Lord Rama. But nobody knows. So even great emperors who have conquered such great kingdoms and the whole of Bhumandala, forget about Bhugola, we are talking about the entire Bhumandala, right? Where Meru mountain is actually 1 lakh yojanas. That is about 12 lakh kilometers, right? So that kind of 12 lakh kilometers is the height of Meru mountain. That is Bhumandala. We are a small insignificant in Bhugola, in that Bhugola, in somewhere in India, and somewhere in Telangana, somewhere in Hyderabad, somewhere in this Pichipoli, like Lilananda Prabhu says. We are there, and then we still think how great we are. So but everything has passed away. These generations have passed away. So that is one important thing that Srimad Bhagavatam is establishing, that it's showing the temporary nature of even the great dynasties. The second important thing it establishes is the appearance, and it sets a context to the appearance of the Supreme Lord. Ki, okay, this is building up. And why that is important? Why is this important? To show the genealogy of where Lord has appeared, because that proves, when everybody says this is mythology, your scriptures are all mythology, they don't have any existence, they never happened, it is all imagination of some sages who are sitting somewhere in Himalayas. We heard these kind of things from many of our friends and relatives themselves? And even those people who are reading constantly Bhagavatam and Ramayanam, but not in parampara, you will hear this from them also. Those families who are so buried in ritualistic traditions, even you will hear from them also. You ask them who wrote Vedas, how did all these scriptures come? They will say that it is imagination of the sages. And that is very, very sad reality. Because all they have to do is pick up Bhagavatam and start reading. Then we will understand that Bhagavatam is a Purana. Ramayana is a Itihasa. Mahabharata is a Itihasa. Itihasa means history. Purana means history. It is historical reference. Right? Purana ho gaya. It is telling us that it is our ancient history where real incidents have happened, real everything that is there in Srimad Bhagavatam is absolute truth, 100%. We need to have that faith in our scriptures, right? Because it is absolute truth. Srimad Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna. It is sound incarnation of Krishna. Literary incarnation of Krishna is Srila Vyasadeva, who is written Bhagavatam. And it is called sound incarnation of Krishna because when we are reciting, even an illiterate who does not know how to recite can hear and get purified from Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the power of the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, to establish the legitimate royal succession of this Kshatriya Dharma is very, very important because Lord Himself has created the Varnas and Ashramas. Chaturvarnyam Maya Shrishtam Gunakarma Vibhagashaha. Right? So, Chaturvarnyam, He is created because that is a good way of establishing Dharma, keeping the society intact, and ensuring that the entire society follows the Dharma. So, there are Brahmanas who will delineate the message of Dharma to everybody. There is Kshatriya who is protecting that Dharma and the people from practicing this Dharma. Right? They are the administrators, they are the defenders, they are the protectors. Protectors of what? They are the protectors of Dharma. Because if they protect the society, they protect the Brahmanas, then the Brahmanas will continue to give this knowledge to the all the sections of the society, all other sections of society who cannot understand the message of Vedas because they are so difficult to understand. So Brahmanas are there who can make it easy. Like our gurus, our acharyas, what they have done, they have made things very easy to understand that even such fools like me are able to read Bhagavatam and also trying to understand what is there in Bhagavatam, right? So that is not our greatness. That is greatness of Srila Prabhupada, without whom we'll not be able to understand what exactly this verse means. Who of us knows Sanskrit here? Nobody knows. So that is what Prabhupada has done, right? So, and that is how each section of the society is being complementary to each other. But who created that? Lord created it. So, and this actually genealogy only shows how karma is flowing through generations also. And it ultimately how it leads to appearance of Bhagavan. So here in this particular ninth canto, the genealogies will ultimately culminate into Yadu dynasty and the appearance of Lord Krishna. So Bhagavatam has multiple significance. One is that it gives us historical reference. It gives us the philosophical importance also of everything that we are learning. And most importantly, it gives us theology, that is the study of um, the entire concept of the personality of Godhead. Lord is a person, right? Lord is Bhagavan. Bhagavan means one who is possessor of all the six opulences. He is a person. He is not impersonal. And that needs to be established. And how does Bhagavatam establish that? With wonderful, wonderful descriptions, prayers, appearance of the Lord in different forms, what he wears, how he looks, everything is established by Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam is not randomly listing some names and it is mapping, acha, this is what it is. And we should not take, that's why I am giving so much of introduction. My introduction is only itself so long because we should never take, okay, this chapter is nothing. This chapter has only the names of people who have appeared. No, Bhagavatam, 100% absolute truth. There is nothing which is mentioned without any reason. Of all the things which are important in this world, if Bhagavatam is mentioning some names in this particular text, which is going down in history for so many years, imagine how important each of this personality is. So therefore, we should not take it lightly. This chapter, it has only names. Frankly speaking, there is nothing much to say. It has only names. But the significance of that is even more important to understand. Right? So, saying all this, I will start with the chapter finally. And before starting with the chapter, I will show you a very important picture of the Srimad Bhagavatam family tree, where we are. So this will help us to understand that what exactly we are doing, right? And so far, how Bhagavatam has actually proceeded. So if you see here also, what Lilananda Prabhu yesterday discussed was actually here. So if we see the family tree of Srimad Bhagavatam, so from Krishna, Lord Brahma, and then the different Manus, right? Swayambhuva Manu, Marichi, and all the different um, descendants of Lord Brahma have come. From Lord Brahma also comes Atri. So we are here right now. Atri, Soma, from Soma comes Buddha. So Soma is the moon. And from there starts the moon dynasty. So Buddha is not Lord Buddha, but it is Buddha who is the son of Soma. And from there, Pururava comes, whose wife is Urvashi. So if we see Pururava here, then we have discussed the different descendants. So earlier in the last couple of sessions, you would have seen Gadhi, the descendant of Pururava, Gadhi, and then Jamadagni, Lord Parshurama, Vishwamitra was also discussed. Now we are coming finally to the other section. 4 other sons are mentioned, then Ayu is mentioned right here. So you will see here Ayu, Kshatra Vriddha. Kshatra Vriddha, 3 other sons, Nahusha. So today it is primarily about Kshatra Vriddha and his descendants. The whole chapter is about that. Eventually, you will be seeing about Nahusha, Yayati, so many important personalities, Yayati, Yadu, Puru. So we'll see that actually from the Yadu only, so many important personalities have come. All the important devotees. Who are the most important devotees? Here are the Pandavas. Queen Kunti, right? The whole. So if we see here, the descendants, so we'll see here, there are many descendants. From Yadu, from Yayati comes Yadu, and slowly and steadily, Vrishni, then Surasena. From Surasena comes Vasudev, and then Kunti. And then from here, from Satvata also comes Ugrasena and Devaka. How important these personalities are, right? Here Devaki has appeared, and here Vasudev has appeared, and from there Lord Balaram, Lord Krishna, Subhadra, and other sons. Then it is Kunti. From Kunti comes Pandavas, right? So that's the reason why this is very, very important. This dynasty is so important. So where is it all starting from? Pururava is here, and it is come down in that. So now do we understand the importance of Pururava and his lineage? So many important personalities have taken birth here. So how important this dynasty must be. So let's glorify this dynasties a bit. We start with the chapter 17. And there are only 17 verses. It's only verses and translation, so it will not take much time. And therefore, that I took the liberty of covering, because I didn't know how else can I cover this chapter without speaking of the glories of Pururava, right? So we'll start with chapter 17, text 1 to 3. Shri Badarayana Ruvacha. यः पुरूरवशः पुत्र आयुस्तस्याभवन् सुता नहुषा क्षत्रवृद्धश्च रजीराभश्च वीर्यवान् अनेना इति राजेन्द्र शृणु क्षत्रवृद्धोऽन्वयम् क्षत्रवृद्धसुतस्यासन् सुहोत्रस्यात्मजास्त्रया काश्य कुशो कृत्समद इति कृत्समदात् अभूत् शुनकः शौनको यस्य बह्वृच प्रवरो मुनिः. Translation. Anybody wants to read the translation?
Can I, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Yes, please read.
Sukadeva Goswami said, from Pururava came a son named Ayu, whose very powerful sons were Nahusa, Kshatravrdha, Raji, Rabha, and Anena. O Maharaja Parikshit, now hear about the dynasty of Kshatravrdha. Kshatravrdha's son was Suhotra, who had 3 sons named Kashya, Kusha, and Gritsamada. From Gritsamada came Shaunaka, and from him came Shunaka, and from him came Shaunaka, the great saint, the best of those conversant with Rigveda. Hare Krishna, thank you.
So, like we see in this family tree, from Pururava came Ayu, Kshitra Vriddha, and then Nahusha, and then they are talking about many descendants. So in between, only important personalities is mentioned in this tree, because otherwise it's very difficult to cover the tree. So Kshitra Vriddha, and came Shaunaka Rishi. So who is Shaunaka Rishi? He is a great conversant of Rig Veda, and he is the one who is actually having the conversation with Sutta Goswami, right? He is the leading all the sages of Naimisharanya. So, and that is the reason why. So now we understand what is the greatness of Shaunaka Rishi, who's having this conversation. So even for speaking Bhagavatam and for narrating Bhagavatam, they have taken great personalities like Shaunaka Rishi, Sutta Goswami, Shukdev Goswami. So everybody who is mentioned in Bhagavatam is so important. Today we are very fortunate that because of Prabhupada, we are also getting a chance to touch this Bhagavatam, speak the Bhagavatam. Text 4. काश्यस्य काशिस्तत्पुत्रो राष्ट्रो दीर्घतमः पिता धन्वन्तरिर्दीर्घतमसा आयुर्वेद प्रवर्तकः यज्ञभुक् वासुदेवांश स्मृतमात्रार्तिनाशनः. Anybody for translation? The son of Kashya was Kashi, and his son was Rashtra, the father of Dirghatama. Dirghatama had a son named Dhanvantri, who was the inaugurator of the medical science and an incarnation of Lord Vasudeva. See again, another incarnation of Lord. Dhanvantri is incarnation of Lord, and that's where Ayurveda has taken its origin. The enjoyer of the results of sacrifices. One who remembers the name of Dhanvantri can be released from all disease. Text 5. Tatputra ketumanasya jagye bhima rathastataha divo daso dyumams tasmat pratardana iti smritaha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The son of Dhanvantri was Ketuman, and his son was Bhimaratha. The son of Bhimaratha was Divodasa, and the son of Divodasa was Dyuman, also known as Pratardana. Sa eva Shatrujit Vatsa Ritadhvaja iti ritaha Tatha Kuvalaya Shveti Prokto Larkadayastataha. Dyuman was also known as Shatrujit, Vatsa, Ritadhvaja, and Kuvalayashva. From him were born Alarka and other sons. So are all these sons mentioned? No, actually, they are not mentioned here. Kroshta. No, they're not mentioned. Okay. Text 7. Shashtim varsha sahasrani, Shashtim varsha shatani cha, Nalarkad aparo rajan, Bubhuje medinim yuva. Anybody for translation? Very simple translations. If anybody, it is feasible, please do touch Bhagavatam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Alarka, the son of Dyuman, reigned over the earth for 66,000 years. My dear King Parikshit, no one other than him has reigned over the earth for so long as a young man. Text 8. Alarkat santatistasmat sunitotha niketanaha translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If anybody wants
Can
to...
I read, Mataji, if nobody reads?
Yeah, Mataji, please.
So from Alarka came a son named Santati, and his son was Sunita. The son of Sunita was Niketana, the son of Niketana was Dharmaketu, and the son of Dharmaketu was Satyaketu.
Thank you. Text 9. Drishtaketustastasmat Sukumara Vitihotrosya Bhargoto Bhargabhumir Abhunripa. Anybody for translation? O King Parikshit, from Satyaketu came a son named Drishtaketu, and from Drishtaketu came Sukumara, the emperor of the entire world. From Sukumara came a son named Vitihotra, from Vitihotra Bharga, and from Bharga Bhargabhumi. Text 10. Iti me kashayo bhupa kshatravriddhana क्षत्रवृद्धान्वयायिनः राभस्य रभस पुत्रो गंभीरश्चाक्रियस्ततः. Translation. O Maharaja Parikshit, all of these kings were descendants of Kashi, and they could also be called descendants of Kshatravriddha. The son of Rabha was Rabhasa. From Rabhasa came Gambhira, and from Gambhira came a son named Akriya. Text 11. Tat kotram brahma vijjagni shrunuvamsham anena saha shuddhastata ruchistasmaj chitrakrit dharma sarathi. Translation. The son of Akriya was known as Brahmavit, O king. Now hear about the descendants of Anena. From Anena came a son named Shuddha, and his son was Shuchi. The son of Shuchi was Dharma Sarathi, also called Chitrakrit. Text 12. Tata Shantarajo Jagnye Kritya Sa Atmavan Raje Pancha Shatanyasan Putranam Amitaujasam. Translation. From Chitrakrit was born a son named Shantaraja, a self-realized soul who performed all kinds of Vedic ritualistic ceremonies and therefore did not beget any progeny. The sons of Raji were 500, all very powerful. Chitrakrit was born a son named Shantaraja. Okay. Text 13. Devairabhyarthito daityan hatvendraya dadadivam indrastasmai punardatva grihitva charanau raje atmanam arpayam asa prahradadyari shankitaha. Translation. On the request of the demigods, Raji killed the demons and thus returned the kingdom of heaven to Lord Indra. But Indra, fearing such demons as Prahlad, returned the kingdom of heaven to Raji and surrendered himself at Raji's lotus feet. So Raji was that great powerful king that even Indra handed over his kingdom to Raji, and Raji had to protect Indra's kingdom. Indra is supposed to be the king of the demigods. Means Raji was even more powerful than Indra himself. So, and Indra usually does not trust. We see that Indra never parts with the kingdom, but he's trusted Raji for returning back his kingdom. Means he had that kind of faith on Raji also. We can derive from here, though it is my speculation, though this whole sentence is my speculation. But what it also means is that Raji was that trustable for Indra, that he gave the kingdom, that one day if I have to take it back, I can easily take it back. That was the faith that he had. So Raji must be a very detached king who is very, very uh, staunch in his duties and responsibilities, but is not attached to his duties or possessions. So that also we can actually kind of derive from here. Text 14. Pitaryoparate putra, pitaryoparate putra, yachamanaaya no dadu. Trivishtapam Mahendraya Yajna Bhagan Samadaduhu. Upon Raji's death, Indra begged Raji's sons for the return of the heavenly planet. They did not return it. However, although they agreed to return Indra's shares in ritualistic ceremonies. So usually in the ritualistic ceremonies also, we see that for every devata, there is a share that is given. Sacrifices are very, very important, especially if somebody is not really following bhakti. Uh, and we are seeing that Varnashrama Dharma has sacrifices as a very important element, because sacrifice builds detachment. When you are not attached to what you have or what you can derive out of the yajna, because yajna ultimately gives some benediction and some fulfillment of material desires only for people. So those who want to fulfill their material desires, the regulated or the authorized way is actually going through the Shastras, through the Vedas. The Vedic injunctions will actually give the procedure how one can fulfill their material desires. For that, there are sacrifices to be performed. Of course, for Kali Yuga, none of the sacrifices will work. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's why, has given Sankirtana Yagya for one and all, because everybody is fallen. Nobody is in that nobody is in that stature to perform these yagyas in a very, very conscious mind of first of all, the ingredients itself are adulterated. The people who are performing, the brahmanas who are performing the yajna, don't have that kind of consciousness of the earlier times. And even the what is that yajamani, who is called the yajamani, is the one who is actually um, who is one initiated the sacrifice in the first place, the one who has taken up this whole what is that sankalpa of doing the yajna, right? He is yajamani, right? And that yajamani's consciousness was also very, very clear in those times, but right now we can't say. When we see that even for small, small ceremonies, like not small, like small, of course, like what is that, Barasala, Aksharabhyasam, the Mundan ceremony, all the 16 ceremonies that are performed for the purification of the soul, which of them we are actually doing it as per the original recommendations of Veda? Everything is shortcut. We can't sit in that for even 1-2 hours. We don't have the patience to sit. And we keep telling the Brahmana who is conducting the Purohit, we keep telling him, hurry up, hurry up. And we give them some extra money to make get done with this yagya also very fast. If there are any shantis also to be done for the child who is born in a certain nakshatra, we are not, our consciousness is not there in that shanti or the ritual at all. I am talking about myself, because I am able to recollect everything that we have done from start till now in all the rituals. The marriage ceremony has come down from 16 days to 5 days to 1 day, and now 1 hour we are going, and by the time we realize the marriage ceremony is over for people in this one. So I remember for my marriage, I had to sit from night 1:30 until next day morning 9 o'clock. Also, we were doing some homam was going on, and all the this thing was actually going into our eyes. But nowadays, when I go to any marriage, I see that before even I realize, they say that okay, only bhajan trilu we are able to hear. So I don't know what's happening. And that only shows nothing else but degradation, because nobody is able to follow the Vedic injunctions that way. So therefore, all of us are not Shudras, but actually degraded than Shudras also, because Shudra also follows Vedic injunctions. Shudra is a Varna established by Krishna only. And Shudra is also supposed to perform all the sevas with hands and legs, and serve the other sections of society. So we can't even call ourselves Shudra. We are that degraded. And for this, that's the reason why Mahaprabhu had to appear. Krishna had to appear himself as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as a devotee, because we are so dumb, manda sumanda mateo manda bhagya. We are all of that. So we will not be able to understand. Krishna already established the dharma. He came, he spoke Bhagavad Gita, he gave everything to us. But did we understand? Even after 4,500 years of Krishna leaving, then Krishna had to see from above, from his Goloka Dham, that these people again, they have made all the shortcuts, and इनका कुछ नहीं हो सकता. There is no hope. These are hopeless people. And that is why he had to come. He had to demonstrate. He had to actually naturally do everything. And he had to act. He had to give us a practical class. It's like actually teachers doing in a chemistry lab. They actually perform the experiment. Then after that, they come to us. Okay, sometimes even in our chemistry 12th boards, I remember that even during board exam, the teacher is actually coming and telling, did you put this ingredient into this test tube? And actually giving us hand holding our hand sometimes, and actually making us do the things so that we can pass the exam. And that is the status of Krishna, who's appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He had to come, he had to handhold us. He has to handle even, and every day we have to take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, especially Nityananda Prabhu, Guru Tattva, who's even more merciful than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? So here, upon Raji's death, Indra begged Raji's sons for the return of the heavenly planet. They did not return it. However, although they agreed to return Indra's shares in ritualistic ceremonies, they want to do the ceremonies correctly, in that they are offering the oblations to Indra, because for every devata oblations go, right? We saw also in Daksha Yagya how Shiva's oblations were not given to him, but for everybody oblations have to be given, right? So like that, purport. So Raji conquered the kingdom of heaven, and therefore when Indra, the heavenly king, begged Raji's sons to return it, they refused, because they had not taken the heavenly kingdom from Indra, but had inherited it from their father. So now they think that it is their own property. They considered it their paternal property. Why then should they return it to the demigods? So that is what they are thinking. Text 15. Guruna huyu गुरुणा हूयमानेग्नौ बलभित् तनयान् रजे अवधीत् भ्रंशितान् मार्गान् न कश्चित् अवशेषितः. Translation. Thereafter, Brihaspati, the spiritual master of the demigods, offered oblations in the fire so that the sons of Raji would fall from moral principles. When they fell, Lord Indra killed them easily because of their degradation. Not a single one of them remained alive. So what happened? Spiritual master of demigods offered oblations in the fire so that the sons of Raji would fall from moral principles. For that also, Brihaspati had to do something in the yagya. And when they fell from their moral principles, from their dharma, then easily because of their Lord Indra killed them. Because what is the role of Indra there? Because he will kill somebody who is not following the dharma. And easily because of their degradation. Not a single one of them remained alive. So for refusing to refusing to honestly give back what belongs to Indra, they did not give. And that's what they have faced the consequences. But today we see we are performing left, right, and center adharmas, but no Indra is coming and killing us, because in today's yuga, time itself is the killer. Krishna as Kala, he kills us. In due course of time, we automatically see degradation and perishing also, right? Either through some diseases, or through the reactions of our karma also. Karma is the biggest punisher, right? It takes care of everything. So Lord has created a very wonderful engineering uh, through this. If we think about the whole system of how Lord awards, rewards, and punishments, right? The whole system is very, very scientifically designed by the Lord, where He does not interfere at all in our, neither does He interfere in our actions. As long as we are not looking at Him, He does not interfere with actions. So that condition is very, very important. It's like that bird, two birds on the tree, mentioned in the Upanishads, that Lord is the witness. He is eternal witness. He is there every time, he all the time, right next to the soul. He's sitting and he's observing, while the soul bird is actually looking at the different fruits of the tree. The Lord, as the supreme bird, is actually looking at us. When from the tree and from the fruits, when will our vision come towards the Lord? When will we actually start seeing the Lord? When will that day come? He is waiting very eagerly, but he does not interfere with the bird who is looking at the fruits. He does not forcibly turn the face towards him and say, "Come on, start looking at me, follow my instructions." He does not say that. He respects free will, right? So that's what, so for this Kali Yuga, that is the stage that he's created a very wonderful system of karma, kala, prakriti, right? So the whole concept of Bhagavad Gita is actually Jiva, Paramatma, Kala, Karma, Prakriti. Why? Because Jiva is actually engaged in this whole cycle of Kala, Karma, Prakriti. With time, and what happens is that our actions, whether they are pious or impious actions, they will keep leading to our karma and karmic reactions. Based on that karma, karmic reactions, and the jiva's desires, next birth next birth and next body is predetermined. And who determines that? This whole balance that the jiva has created, the balance of the desires, balance of the karmas and karmic reactions, right? And of all the past impressions. Based on that, there is a body which is predetermined. And who is determining that? Because jiva is only determining. Lord has not given it to us. Lord has only created a system where we are doing these based on our desires, based on our actions and reactions. The Prakriti will award it. Material nature will provide us a body. That also Brahma has already created the different planetary systems, the different bodies he's already created and kept. The awarding is being done by Prakriti for based on our balances. So if we have got some body where there is any deformation or something we are not happy with body, we have a natural tendency to blame the Lord. So when we are doing this, we need to first look at how many fingers are actually towards us. We need to start remembering that actually we need to blame ourselves. It is our great desires, our great actions and reactions of the past that we are finally getting this great body, which today we are actually hating, right? For some reason or the other, we are hating. But that is nothing. That Lord has not done anything. He's just created a system. It's like we are given a laptop by the manufacturer, and the laptop ni manam eda peda tokkesam. We have used it by our own whims and fancies. We did not follow his manual also. Along with the laptop, he's given a manual. Use it like this. If it is heating up, you do this way, and this is how these keys are supposed to be used. If there is a problem, this is how you troubleshoot. Everything is there in the manual. Who is using the manual? Have we ever opened the manual and checked how to use the laptop? We think we are very smart. We know everything. I know everything. So therefore, I will start using the laptop directly. And then one day, I will spoil it. And when it spoils, instead of 5 years, it starts coming for 1 year. The same way our Ayu reduces from 100 years to 20 years. And then we blame God. God, what did I do to you? Why are you punishing me? And that's how we spend time blaming the Lord. And then we accumulate even more great karmas that way. From Kusha, the grandson of, because that is also coming from the tendency of shedding responsibilities, shedding ownership. I am not owning my actions only. I don't care who was there in the past. I don't care where will I go in the future. जिंदगी ना मिलेगी दोबारा, आज में ही जीना है. So that is the reason why we are thinking that past is not me, the future is not me, the present is only me, and this me is supposed to only enjoy and not suffer. So how short-sighted approach is that? So that is the importance of the scriptures. We need to take shelter of the scriptures, otherwise we will never understand our actions and reactions. Even forget about correcting. Even before correcting, we should have the knowledge. What to correct? What has gone wrong? What are we doing? That knowledge has to come. And without Guru's mercy, without Krishna's mercy, that cannot happen. So praying to the Lord to always keep us in his radar, because if he's given us access to these Shastras, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, which means that we are in Lord's radar now, right? So definitely he will also give us Lord's mercy in the form of Guru Kripa. So translation from Kusha, the grandson, this grandson, Kshatravriddha, was born a son named Prati. The son of Prati was Sanjaya, and the son of Sanjaya was Jaya. From Jaya, Krita was born, and from Krita, King Haryabala. So what does this say? Kushat Prati Kshatravriddhat Sanjayastat Suto Jayaha Tatah Krita Kritasyapi Jagye Harya Balo Nripa. Okay, the last verse for today, text 17. Sahadevastato hino Jayasinastu tatsutaha Sankritistasya cha jayaha Kshatradharma maharatha Kshatravriddhanvaya bhupa Ime shrunvata nahushan. Translation. From Haryabala came a son named Sahadeva, and from Sahadeva came Hina. The son of Hina was Jayasena, and the son of Jayasena was Sankriti. The son of Sankriti was the powerful and expert fighter named Jaya. These kings were the members of Kshatravriddha dynasty. Now let me describe to you the dynasty of Nahusha. Purport. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purports of the 9th canto, 17th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Dynasties of the Sons of Pururava. So this is the end of the chapter, and the next chapter is about King Yayati, like we saw in the family tree of Srimad Bhagavatam. Any questions, clarifications, feedback, corrections, please feel free to correct. Else we will conclude the call. Okay.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. That's
Thank you.
I never know. I never get to this canto, but still, it's really good. That Chandravamsh, there are so many people in this lineage, and it started with, very beautiful. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Machi. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anantakoti Vaishnavavrinda ki
Jai.
Granthiraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dhanavad pranams. Excellent.
Dandavat pranams to everyone.
Shilpa Mataji, you can stop recording. I'll end the call. Hare Krishna.